It is now official. After 4 years of Joe Biden's rule over this country, Americans have resoundingly rejected him and his policies. As you can see on the screen here, a new Gallup poll shows that Joe Biden is the second worst president in American history. And if we look at these numbers, if you combine below average and poor ratings on Joe Biden, you get 54%. Now compare that to Donald Trump, combine his below average and poor ratings, you get 44%. So I guess 10% more of Americans actually approve of Donald Trump than, of course, approve of Joe Biden. But this last election kind of proved that, even though they substituted in Kamala Harris for the doddering old man. And a big part of why Donald Trump won is that he was able to appeal with Democrats who are basically just sick and tired of the woke mob, sick and tired of the horrible economy, sick and tired of the open border. Not to mention Donald Trump's embracing of Democrats who share some common goals as those people on the right, as is going to be pointed out here by Bill Maher. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
It's not like this country does not need some sort of clean sweeping. Now, I don't know what that's going to be. I've said this before. This country needs a colonic. I would not have chosen Donald Trump to be the doctor to administer that colonic. But I'm curious to see, for example, what Elon Musk is going to do. I'm curious to see how influential he's going to be. He is tasked with reinventing the government, basically. He said some things which I think are great, and I'm on the page with. The first thing he said was, we're going to ask everybody in the government who has been staying home, and that's been a lot of people since the pandemic, to come back to work.
Right.
And we expect about 20% of the workforce to then just quit, and we welcome that. And I thought, yeah, that's probably okay, because if 20% of the government workforce quit, would we notice the difference? I'm guessing we probably wouldn't. He also said he was going to go after the F-35. Okay, perfect.
Jets,
That's
yeah.
exactly the kind of thing we should do. This is a fighter jet that they've been funding to the tune of like $1 trillion. And he said, first of all, it's obsolete. We don't use fighter jets anymore. We won't in the very near future. They're just going to get pilots killed, and we have drones now. So why are we spending $1 trillion on something we don't need? So if that's what's going to go on in the government, I'm all for it.
So that, of course, is what put Donald Trump over the edge with many Democrat and independent voters. His desire to work with people who actually have coincided interests, right? RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, right? Even though we don't agree with every single thing they say, there are some big aspects that we can come together on. And that caused many people to say, maybe there's more to this Donald Trump guy than I had thought previously. Now, Bill Maher, we all know how he voted, but at least he's willing to say this now, to which I suppose I should say better late than never. Now, Charlamagne he got over there on the Breakfast Club, even he's starting to recognize that wokeness and political correctness is not a good idea when you're running for office.
You guys think about that? Gulf of America? We like it?
Donald Trump,
whatever you want.
Yeah. Donald Trump shows me what's politically possible. Trump shows me what presidents can do if they want to do it. Donald Trump shows me what can be said if you are willing to say it. It's not about what can't be done. It's about who has the political will to do it. I don't want to hear a peep from Democrats about nothing until they get the balls to say what's really on their mind in regards to this country and this world. Trump doesn't care if it sounds ridiculous. Trump doesn't care if it makes sense. It's no political correctness whatsoever. As I've been saying for years, the language of politics is dead, and Donald Trump killed it.
So that, of course, is what we love about Donald Trump. He always says what's on his mind. He may be incorrect about some things. He may exaggerate about some things, but at least you know exactly what he's thinking, okay? And I actually encourage Democrats to do exactly what Charlamagne is talking about here, right? Please say what you really feel, because if they did that, there is no way they would win elections. As I always say, Republicans win elections by saying exactly what they're thinking and exactly what they're going to do. Democrats win elections by lying to the American people, right? They're not going to say, oh, we're going to come out and hire X number of people to fill X number of spots simply because of what they believe, what they look like, right? We're not going to come out and hire people because they're the best and brightest. We're going to actually put roadblocks in the way of those people, right? That's exactly what Democrats do. That's what they stand for. And if they said that to the American people, everyone would be like, no, we're not voting for that. You're crazy. This is America, the land of opportunity, the land of equality, the land where you can make as much of yourself as you are able. Hence the need for Democrats to constantly be lying about what they're actually going to do and what they actually believe. But some people are finally warming up to the idea of working with Donald Trump, especially on simple things that make perfect sense to the American people.
Senator Fetterman, there are Democrats, obviously, who spoke out against this today. One of them, Congressman Raskin. Take a listen.
Pick a crime, paste into it a template immigration law covering convicted criminals, and then require detention or deportation of certain persons merely accused of committing the crime or arrested for committing the crime. No due process required at all. This allows us to get up and demonize immigrants.
So what do you say to that? You've signed on to this bill.
Oh, well, I mean, I have a lot of enormous respect for my colleague in the House, but I just happen to disagree on this. And for me, just like my friend and colleague in the Senate, like, it's really common sense. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of migrants here illegally that have convicted of crimes. And why, I don't know why, who wants to defend that, to allow them to remain in our nation? They're that. And now if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes and those things, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's controversial that they all need to go.
Do you think that this was one of, if not the biggest issue for this election?
Well, I think if we can't, there's 47 of us in the Senate, and if we can't pull up with 7 votes, if we can't get at least 7 out of 47, and if we can't, then that's the reason why we lost. That's one of them. That's one of why we lost, in part.
Go ahead.
Brett, if you think about that, I mean, that's what he's saying, needing the 7 votes to be able to debate this bill. And I think the American people have already answered that question. They have said, we want you to find ways to have common sense, bipartisan solutions to help us secure our border and keep our country and communities safe. And so I'm hopeful that our colleagues will come together and say, let's talk about this.
Well, I mean, I've been in this same chair, and I was arguing about a year ago saying that, you can be pro-immigration, but we need a secure border. And we have a serious issue here on the border, and we have to address that. And here we have now, we can be pro-immigration. And I really believe we should protect the dreamers. But I don't know why it's controversial that we need to deport any migrants here illegal that are engaging in kinds of criminal activity. I don't know why that's controversial to anybody.
So who in the world would have thought that John Fetterman would turn out to be the most reasonable Democrat in Congress right now? I mean, this blows my mind. The man was basically a socialist, okay? But then he had a stroke and maybe something clicked. I don't know when he recovered, but here we are, and he's actually speaking common sense. He's sounding like Obama back in the early 2000s. He sounded like Hillary Clinton when she was running for president, right? He sounding like the Democrats of old who actually say, hey, we can have a secure border and still be pro-immigration, which, by the way, is what conservatives are for. We want to know who every single person is coming into this country, and we can debate about how many that should be per year. But the simple idea is, if you have committed any type of crime, you are gone. You don't get to stay. But the left, what are they doing? Oh, we're going to protect those immigrants. We're not going to turn them over to ICE because obviously they're the best and brightest among us. Those people who are robbing and raping and assaulting and doing all types of horrible things to our community. Please allow them to stay. No, the American people have resoundingly rejected this line of thought in the last election. It was the economy, it was the border, it was the woke garbage. It's all out of here thanks to Joe Biden basically expressing exactly what the Democrats have been wanting to do for years. But really what I find most interesting about this is hopefully the Republicans are changing their tune. It used to always be that, oh, we have to work together. We have to reach across the aisle and give the Democrats exactly what they want. But now hopefully the shoe's on the other foot and we're going to say, yeah, we want to work together if you come across to things we agree on our side. We're not going to give you concessions because we're the ones in control of the House and the Senate and the presidency. So you go ahead and work on things that we both care about as opposed to us bending over backwards to try to placate for you. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.